We've asked some of the experts in the field of youth protection to join us today and get a better understanding of how we can make better choices in some tough situations. For the past 30 years, Cordelia Anderson has assisted many organizations and serves on the board of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Dr. Sharon Cooper specializes in developmental and forensic pediatrics at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill School of Medicine. Dr. Cooper regularly assists investigators of internet crimes against children. Dr. David Walsh is a psychologist who founded the National Institute on Media and the Family. Dr. Walsh has done extensive work on the impact of media on children and teens.
The first thing for you teenagers to remember about the internet is that the internet is public space. So anything that you put out on the internet, you may think it's personal, but what you need to remember is that there are ways that that could be shared with the rest of the world.
Another thing that you can do to protect yourself is simply not respond when somebody contacts you, whether it's someone you know or don't know, and they're saying something that makes you uncomfortable or something that's sexually inappropriate or disrespectful in any way. Don't respond.
If you're allowing people onto your profile or who are blogging with you who are beginning to take a violent theme in the way that they comment on your blog site, or if you find that they are using profanity and becoming highly sexually explicit, if these are the types of postings that are coming on your site, you would want to stop that, simply because that doesn't reflect where you're coming from. But when others are reading your site, they may very well feel that if you don't say anything about it, that you condone that type of communication.
You might not know that future employers or people at the college you might want to go to or military service you may want to be part of could also look at that information or get access to that information. So think about how you're presenting yourself.
Teens who have been very adventurous but well-meaning, who put their clear and authentic information online, thinking that the individuals who will come to talk to them will be same-aged peers or people that they will have interest with. Unfortunately, though, when predators seek to come to your site, they will know your name and they will be able to get more information about you because they know your name. If you have met someone online and they've been blogging with you and they tell you that they're a teenager like you are and they'd like to meet at the mall, never go to the mall to meet that person by yourself.
We know that one of the ways that perpetrators trick people, and that's whether it's somebody your own age or somebody older, is convince you that it's a trusting, loving, caring relationship. And the way to move that relationship along is to send pictures of yourself, and then to send perhaps more explicit pictures of yourself, and more explicit pictures of yourself.
If you decide to take pictures of yourself that are not only sexually explicit but actually meet the definition of pornographic, you are committing a federal offense. You have just produced child pornography.
It's pretty tempting to go into an adult website to see what's there. When we're teenagers, when we're adults, we're curious about sex, we're curious about what's in those forbidden sites. But one of the reasons to stay away from them is that they have information that's harmful to adults as well as to teens.
If a teenager, during your teenage years, you start to spend a lot of time in porn sites, what it starts to do is it starts to skew, it starts to distort your view of what a healthy sexuality is.
Looking at pornography over and over and over again is highly addictive. Many people begin to stop having their social contacts with friends and going to football games and doing normal things because they'd rather be at home in their bedroom looking at their computer at more and more pornographic images. And what the research has also helped us to recognize is that when you look at certain kinds of pornography long enough, it after a while becomes insufficient to satisfy your curiosity or your desires. So therefore, you begin to look at more and more graphic and more explicit images.
So all of this technology, every little bit of technology that comes along, what we need to constantly remember is that there's a good way to use it and there's a not good way to use it. And what we want to do is use our values that we really want to have part of our lives, we want those to be the touchstones for the decision of how am I going to use this technology.